Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd. It is 6:23 right now. We got market opening up in about 7 minutes. Um, so looking at the list for today, you guys saw I posted on the Discord. I'm not going to post the list of trades on the live stream anymore due to obvious reasons. We get about three target entries for the day. First one obviously is not one that I'm taking. If you guys want to take it, it is with momentum. Obviously 69% weighted average of probability, 55% overall, 83.33% for buys, 42.86% for sells. History shows that it's won two out of the previous four entries. So if you guys want to take that one, obviously that's going to be with momentum. And that'll be in a few moments. So as we get closer to market open, if you guys want to take that trade, feel free to take it. As you know, there's a lot of crazy volatility on open, so we don't really like to take that trade specifically. The next entry that I'll be looking for will be a little bit later, but I have them listed on the spreadsheet if you guys went and took a look at that. So if you guys want to go and take a look at that right now, spreadsheet is posted on the Discord. Um, and you guys can get the list of trades there. So one question that I got last night was from Josh. I think Josh, you're here right now. So Josh was asking, or he mentioned that his list of trades came up differently. And the thing is, or with regard to the screener. So if you guys are using the screener, here's a screener right here, right on my side. Your guys' screener is always going to look different from mine unless you're on TradingView Ultimate, right? So I'm on the Ultimate plan. So you'll see here that I have like 31 trades listed, right? If you're not on Ultimate or if you're on a lower plan, you're probably going to see like maybe 20 or 15 or 10 or 12 trades listed right here, right? So the screener is always going to look different on mine because I have more data. The main difference as well is that I'm not even using the screener, guys. So if you guys are using the screener to identify trades, it's not a bad thing to use. It's a good, like if you just want to do a quick view of like what's available, um, you can use a screener, but I go candle by candle. So when I'm looking at my list of trades, I'm actually going right here, candle to candle from 829 to 830 to 831. So I'm pretty much just going candle by candle, hitting 830, and then I'm updating it. And then I'm calculating the numbers right here to see if it meets my criteria, and then I go on to the next one. That's what I'm doing. That's why my list might be different from yours. My list is going to be like as accurate as can be because I'm doing these one by one. There's a way to automate it using Message's his API, but I don't use that because I like to do stuff by hand, so I know exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, Josh, that's pretty much why mine are different. You're not going to see the exact like these numbers are going to be slightly different depending on your data. I actually don't like having more data here because it's going to show a lower win rate. You can see like for my stats, I'm usually going for only 20 trades, right? Because I'm going for 4 weeks behind, and this is showing more than 4 weeks. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because it shows more data, it gives you more quality, I guess, list of trades. Um, but then you kind of skew away from like the closer sample size. So yeah, Josh, that's just what I'm doing. I just want to make it clear there so that you understood. But if you need help with it, just let me know. I just go one by one. So it takes me a little bit longer, but I have a system in place. So it only takes me like maybe 30 minutes to like really get the entire list of trades. And now that I'm mainly focusing on with momentum, not against, it makes things a lot easier. So I don't have to like kind of flip through it. But I am still marking up the against trades. Hey Lila, morning. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Paul. Paul said my YM1, I'm using TradingView, looks completely different from yours. Um, check up here, Paul. See this dot right here? It should say market open and it shouldn't say delayed. If yours is yellow and it says delayed, that's why it looks different because you're about like 10 minutes behind. So you either have to log into your account if you have an Apex account or a Tradify or whatever account really, you just log into your Tradovate down here, and then that'll give you live market. If you don't have an account with any of those, prop firms, then you just have to pay for the market data, which is like $4. So that's the only thing I can think of why it's different. The other thing that I can think of why it's different is that you're using a different candle type, right? I'm using regular candles. You might be on Heiken and Shi. You might be on something else here. I mean, that's the main reason why your candles would look different. Otherwise, it should look exactly the same. So it's either your market data is delayed or you're using a different candle type. All right, guys, market's gonna open up shortly. Let's take a look at the overall trend. Right now, it's currently bullish neutral, it looks like. So the 1 minute here is on the neutral side. It's crossing below the pivots. Trend meters blue. 5 minutes bullish above the pivots. Trend meters green. Pivots are angling up. Same on the 15. 30 minute over here is neutral bullish. 1 hour here is neutral bearish, and the 4 hour is bullish. Looking over here at market structure, the 1 minute's neutral, 5 minutes bullish, 15 minutes bullish, 30 minutes neutral, 1 hour is bullish. 4 hours bullish. So we pretty much have a neutral trend and neutral market structure overall with regard to market right now. Now looking over here at the market profile, price is currently pushing down from this upper area and it might be pushing back down to the point of control down here. So we'll see what happens. Market's gonna open up shortly in about 15 seconds and we'll see where this goes. We're getting a big dump right here. Yeah, Paul said it's delayed. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, like I said, you have to log into your account or you have to pay for the market data. So one or the other. I don't know if you have an account with them, but or I mean one or the other. But that's how you'll get real-time data here. All right, so no entry for me right here. Obviously, I don't take the breakout on open. This one shot the other way. Obviously, this is why I don't take the breakout on open because stuff like this happens, right? Very unpredictable. So huge spike to the upside. Um, I'll be looking for the next possible entry here as price continues to, I mean, obviously move along. But obviously don't take the breakout on open. Rev said Ninja is very laggy. Was it laggy with your entry, Rev, or was it just the platform's laggy? I'm assuming it's the entry, right? You might have got delayed entry. Like you might have hit market entry and it probably got you in super late. If that was the case, then you probably experienced a ton of slippage. Yeah, okay, so I can see that. That's what I figured. So yeah, Rev said the entry is weird. I think so. There's a couple different factors of like why that would happen. You see how this candle here spiked up so fast? If you got in like, I mean, either like, well, it wouldn't really matter. If you got in exactly when price opened or whatever, then I could see the slippage happening here, right? Because I saw the candle actually open. Like it came down heavily, caused a huge wick right here, and then it shot up like within a split second. Let's see. Rev said when it didn't show that it hit my TP line. So it just basically got you in, got you out super quickly, right? I think it's because of the volatility of this candle. Let's see. It's almost 100 point spike. Yeah, so it seems like so for one, it was slippage, and then for two, it was also NinjaTrader just being really slow with identifying it. Or not identifying it, but actually showing your trade on the chart, right? That's like one thing I started to notice with not just market orders, but even with limit orders. You guys will hear it like yesterday when I put my limit order in on the trade, it it says like, order placed or order whatever filled or whatever it may be. It like makes the notification like a second later or 2 seconds later, which is kind of annoying, right? Because you put your trade there and you're expecting it to make the noise or you're expecting it to confirm or anything like that. But when I put the order, it took like maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds for it to actually confirm. But yeah, I agree with you, Rev. NinjaTrader is probably laggy as it has been. It's like one reason why I'm trying to get away from NinjaTrader as quickly as possible. If you guys are still looking to participate in the hedge fund, I'm hoping I get a response from the regulators within the next week or so. I turned in the form on, when was it? It was the day before Thanksgiving. So that was Wednesday. So it's been about a week. I'm gonna give it another week's time, and then hopefully by then we'll have a response from the regulators, and I can start onboarding with uh with StoneX. I know this has been a recurring theme where we keep hoping that we get to on board with them soon, but it's just, there's just other things that are in the way with me getting to that point. So hopefully I get a response from the regulators within the next week or so. Then I'll get the green light to start onboarding onto StoneX. That's going to help us a lot with slippage and platform issues for the most part. All right, so guys, looking at the current market right now, we got price kind of coming down a little bit. Let me go over here and I'll mark up some market structure as we kind of follow this along. Market structure is kind of messy right now, but it's okay. I don't have any entries coming up for a while. Again, if you guys want to follow the algo entries, they're posted on the Discord. So if you guys are part of the premium, I just go over here to Discord, go over here to algo, and I posted all the trades on there. We have one coming up in about a little over 10 minutes. So we don't have anything coming up now. So as we wait, I'm going to go ahead and mark up market structure here. So let's mark up some market structure here. We have a resistance right there. We have a support here. We have a support down here as well. I mean, price is blasting through these support levels. I'm just marking these up so we have an idea of like where price is probably going to bounce from. Not that it's necessary or super relevant, but it's good to just have an idea. We have a lot of so we got a ton of imbalances here. All right, so not that this really matters for us too much, but I'm marking it up anyways. We have a huge imbalance right here. Price might break and retest this area. Oh man, what a crazy open, right? Crazy open back and forth right here. Not a big deal though. Like we talked about before, we're gonna follow it as we go. Hey Sam, morning. Hey Brock, morning. Let's see. Paul said he took the orb, paid 1,000. Nice work, Paul. Brock said, wow, the fouling knife. Nobody sees it coming, dropping. Paul said, well, as soon as I hit my target price reversed, Brock said liquidity on both sides being taken out. Yeah, I know it's crazy, right? Let's mark up this range. Let's identify the range. The range is about 168 points right now. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's a normal range, I guess. It looks big because you're comparing it to the previous candles. So if you're looking at these previous candles over here, we kind of have a dead market, pre-market, and then we have this extreme range right here. It looks worse than it really is. It's about 160 points, so it's not huge. It's what I would consider normal, but it just looks big in comparison to everything else that's happening here. Looking at the orb right now, I mean, there's no retest of the orb. Again, it kind of depends on how people apply the orb. I'm assuming you took the orb just immediately on close, right, Paul? It looks like it. Like it looks like price here broke and closed below here, and you entered as soon as it closed below it. Uh, you said a sell stop. Okay. Oh, so you took it like right at the break. Okay, that's cool. There's different ways of applying it. You can either take it on the close, you can take it right at the break, you can take it on the retest. For me personally, I used to take the orb on the retest, and you see in a market like this, it doesn't come back to retest. So for me, I just wouldn't have an entry for the orb here. Um, but there's so many different ways of applying the orb. I think in the future, I might create an algo for the orb to have the data on it because I don't really trust the orb really. I mean, when it works well, it's great. When it doesn't work well, it's horrible, right? Like for example, the orb from yesterday, see, like these never come back to retest. So the thing is, if I'm applying my typical orb where I look for that break and retest, it just never comes. But if you have that break and close, kind of like what Paul did there, I mean, it'd be great because you break right past and go straight up. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. Um, I could list countless ways of orb. So like orb styles, right? Orb styles, 1 minute orb, 2 minute orb, right? There's so many different orbs. 10-minute orb. The classic is this one, 15-minute orb. This is what most people use. Classic entry. There is break and close entry, break and retest entry. There's break entry. There's so many different types of orbs that you can do. So like, everybody's kind of doing different types of orbs. Like what I used to do is a 2-minute orb and I used the break and retest because this gives you better confirmation. Long term, this actually gives you a higher win percentage versus all the others. And I did my data on it and then I did a Monte Carlo simulator and all that stuff to see what orb style was the best. The one I used was this one. It's just the entry doesn't come up very often sometimes. Like when the market's too heavy and it's just pushing one direction, this will like never come back to refill. And the problem with the orb is that there's a lot of ways to overfit it. There's just this countless ways to trade the orb that you just got to figure out which way you like if you do like the orb. Or an orb is a classic style. When I talked to other hedge fund managers, they said the orb was really good like back in the early 2000s when like nobody knew about it. Everybody knows about it now, so it's like it's not as consistent as it used to be. And they mentioned that it actually works better with like equities markets versus or like single stocks versus like indexes because the indexes are so volatile and they're so choppy that you don't really find consistency. But if you can find stocks that are in play, the orb is actually really, really good strategy. So just something to keep in mind if you guys are looking to take the orb or if it's some interest to you guys. For me, I'm always in communication. I'm always looking at different hedge fund managers and we're always discussing and trying to figure out like, what's the next best thing in a sense. Um, the thing with me being a quant trader and being more of an institutional trader nowadays is that we always have to refine our strategy a little bit, or we always have to find a better find alpha or find our edge, especially for me when I'm trading on a lower time frame. So it's just a little different when you guys are trading retail because most hedge fund managers don't really trade technicals in a sense. They have some sort of quant foundation that they're looking at, and then they use the technicals as a confluence. So it's just slightly different. People trade differently on the retail side versus the institutional side. And I'm still trying to make that switch, right? Because it's hard. I mean, it's hard going off the quant data. It's hard changing my style of trading really, in a sense, because I don't trade off technicals anymore. It's just different. It's really, really different. But long term, I know that it's going to be it's the best move for me to make, of course. So we'll keep looking for opportunities here as price continues to move along. Sam's looking for, or he took a sweep right there. Nice work, Sam. Sam caught the sweep right here off the support level, it looks like, or the previous support. I'm not sure which one Sam took, but he took one of these here. Maybe this one up here. Sweep off the resistance. I think this makes the most sense, right? Break and retest right there. But it's currently ranging within this middle area. Again, if you guys are looking to take an algo entry, there's going to be one coming up in a few minutes. If you guys want to look at the algo entries, it's posted on the Discord. I'm not going to post it here on the stream as anymore because we don't really want people to know what we're doing, right? We don't want to get faded. We just want to go under the radar, get into our position, and follow through with it. So looking at our entry here, we got the sell coming up, it looks like. Obviously, it doesn't matter if I say we're taking a sell or buy because price is in a bearish trend right now. Looking over here on the 1 minute, it's currently strong bearish, 5 minutes neutral, 15 is neutral, 30 minutes neutral, 1 hour is bullish, and the 4 hour is bullish as well. Again, with that being the case, we'll be looking for opportunities here as price continues to move along. Looking over here at the market profile, so it did exactly what I said was going to happen, right? So price was up here. I mentioned price is probably going to push down to the point of control, which it did. This is why I still keep my market profile on my chart so I can kind of see where price is likely to push to. Now that price is here at the point of control, there's one of two things that may happen. Price is either going to bounce off here, push back up to the value high, or it's going to break below, retest, and come down to the value low. That's usually what happens. If you look back at previous data or previous history, I mean, that's just typically what happens, right? You look over here at the point of control, price breaks past it, and it goes straight down to the value low. And you look back at the market from the previous day, or price never came back to the point of control, but eventually came back over here and then came back up to the value high, right? The value high from that day, which is right here. Price always comes back to these areas, guys. So like just keep that in mind, right? This is why I used to use the market profile a lot before. I mean, I still use it for confluence, but price will typically, it'll go to the point of control. And once it goes to the point of control, it'll go to either the value high or the value low. So again, right here, let me show you this as an example. See how price kind of breaks past this area or it gets to the point of control? Where does it push to next? The value high, right? After the value high, where does it go? Pushes back to the point of control. Where does it go from here? Back to the value high. So if you guys want to use this, I mean, this is called market profile. This is something that a lot of people use actually. Hedge funds use this as well. Um, but again, it's as a confluence. We don't just trade directly at these areas. We just look for, an idea of where price is going to go. And then from there, we try to identify where it goes next, of course. So like again here, if you want to see how this thing moves, see how we have the point of control right here. Price breaks past it right here, point of control, and it pushes down to the value low, which is right here. Once it gets to the value low, pushes right back up to the point of control. And then from there, we have a value high, which is up here. It takes a while, but eventually ranges and goes up to the value high. So if you ever want to if you want to see like where price is likely to go to next, um, you can use the market profile to have an idea. Yeah, Sam said looking for a way up on YM, you can use a point of control for algo trade confluences. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'd be looking for most of the time anyways, Sam. So yeah, with that being the case, price is already down here right now. So if it pushes back up to the value high, obviously, buys here could be nice. We want to see this candle close though. So we want to get closer to 7. We want to see the candle close and then we'll kind of go from there or identify from there, I guess. So let me go over here real quick. So let's see. I'll go entries for the day. So we had one at 629. Obviously, this is going to come up almost every day. This was a no entry. It's for a buy. The breakout was for a sell. Obviously, we had a sell momentum there. It was for a buy, so it didn't come up. There's no entry. Um, there's another one right here. So 647, another no entry. This is for a sell. I know we said we weren't going to put this prior, but I could already tell there's not going to be an entry there. So the entry at 647 was for a sell, as you guys know. If you guys do have access to my algo, there's a buy signal here, so there's no entry for 647. One thing I added here is I added the VWAP. The VWAP's not super necessary, but it's something that a lot of people use, including hedge fund managers. We just use this as an anchor, basically, for price to pull back to. You can see how price pushed away from the VWAP, came back to it. You kind of use it as an anchor. So if you have an entry that's kind of pushing towards a VWAP with regard to our algo or anything like that, it does help a lot to just see where price is likely to push to. We have another entry coming up right here at 648. There's going to be no entry again. The fact that there's a lot of these no entries are kind of annoying, but it's also not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing because I'd rather have no entry than have a loss. We do have an target entry coming up, as you guys can see. If you guys are on the Discord and you guys have access to the algo or the algo channel, we do have a target entry coming up. I will be looking to take that. If you guys have access to the spreadsheet, I'll be updating it as we go. So a bunch of no entries right now. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but it's kind of annoying because you want to have an entry here. So we got a target entry coming up in a bit, guys. Again, if you guys want to see it, just go to the Discord, go to Algo up here. I posted a screenshot of the list, and then if you guys want to pull up the spreadsheet, I think the spreadsheet's even better because I'm updating it as we go. So we got one entry coming up in a bit. I will be looking to take that one. Hopefully it does line up with what we're looking for here. You guys can see the rejections right there off the VWAP. All right, so if that's the case, um, I mean, this candle could very well push back up and maybe close above the value high. Who knows? We really don't know, right? Again, looking at the overall trend here, it's pretty mixed. The 1 minute is currently bearish, 5 minutes neutral, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minutes neutral. Everything is neutral basically, except the 1 minute and the 4 hour. 1 minute's bearish, everything's neutral in between. 4 hour is bullish neutral. Looking over here on the market structure, the 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bullish, 15:30 is neutral, 1 hour, 4 hour is bullish, with that being the case. It's a little, I don't want to say unpredictable, but you can see here that price is kind of just stuck within this range, right? It's trying to get away from this range, but it is stuck within the range right now. This price continues to bounce around. So we got that middle range right now for the most part. Let me go and mark up some structure here. Yeah, we're currently consolidating within this middle area, it looks like, for the most part. So some very, very strong consolidation right here around this middle area. Um, Obviously, I'm looking for price to break above and continue climbing up higher from here. That's kind of what Sam's looking for as well. He's looking for a push to the upside. All right, let's see. Just want to kind of see, get an idea of like what the range is looking like if we take an entry at some point soon. Yeah, not horrible. All right, we got that target entry coming up in a bit. Let's see. Rev is asking, what specific indicator are you using for market flow? Um, I think you might be referring to market profile, right, Rev? Not market flow. I don't use anything for market flow. For market profile, I use the TPO. It's called t time price opportunity. It's a built-in indicator with trading view. You might have to have a higher trading view. It's built in. So you put time price opportunity, it'll come up right here. So it's under technicals. It's built into TradingView. It's just, it's a standalone type tool. I don't know if it's available to everybody, but if you're on a higher plan, I think they do have it there. Yeah, market profile. I know you kind of get it mixed up with market. What did you ask for? Market flow. Okay, cool. You should have it then. If you're on premium, then you should have it, Rev. Just go to indicators, go to just type in time price opportunity, and it'll come up right there. The settings, you typically want to use it on the 30-minute time frame. You can use it on lower time frames. It's going to be a little messy. Like here, I'll upload it. You'll see it's not going to be as clean. Actually, it doesn't even come up. Oh, there we go. So it comes up. You just got to zoom out and then come back in. You can see it right here. It's just a little messier. The 30 minutes, it's a lot cleaner to see where everything's at. So yeah, it helps to just identify. I guess the 1 minute could be useful in a sense because we're just kind of looking to see where market profile sitting at the time. I used to have multiple windows for this, but I don't really use it as much. I just use it as a confluence. MPSV2 hit right there for Sam. Nice work, Sam. I'm catching that. So we do have an entry right here, 655 coming up, guys. We're looking to get into the entry. Oh man, slow stretch. So we'll see here if it pushes through. The main thing is we can't get a sell signal here, right? It's the main thing. No sell signal or it's going to throw off the entry. So let's see, I'll be watching it here.
Order submitted. Or
Again, we can't have that bias or that sell signal there. If that sell signal comes up, it's gonna screw up the entire
order submitted.
position. Okay, never mind, guys. I gotta cancel it. Oh man, what a frustrating freaking thing. All right, so it's going to be a no entry for the first target entry at 655, guys. Like I said, we didn't want that sell signal to come up because it's with momentum. It came up and it just kind of screwed up our position here. The entry was going to happen right here at 655. And
Order canceled.
unfortunately, there's just not going to be an entry there. Another no entry. It's really frustrating, guys, because these entries look good and they set up pretty nicely, but this is just something we can't take because it doesn't meet the criteria. You know, I got to stick to the strategy. Obviously, I got to stick to the algo. Um, this would have lined up perfectly with what Sam was looking for as well. He was looking for that bullish push. So I'll follow it and we'll see where this ends up going. But that sell signal just it threw off our entire position because we need to go with momentum, of course. So I already called it as no entry. There's just no way there's going to be an entry here because of this specific candle. Yeah, and you can see over here, this is why the direction is messed up because it should have been the other way. Yeah, it should have been the other way. It's okay. I'll have to wait for the next one out. And it looks like that thing would have played out perfect too. Look at the entry. Yeah, I think this is going to hit. There's no drawdown so far, so if this continues to climb up pretty nicely, it's going to push right through. But we'll see. I'm not going to keep it up, but I'll check on it in a bit. That was going to be our first target entry for the day, 655 for a buy. Fortunately, fortunately, was not the case here today. I was really looking forward to take this entry here. Yeah. Let's see. CJ said I'm currently in the 640 for a buy on the 10-minute. Yeah, full TP right there. So unfortunately, guys, this is the exact entry that we try to take right here, 640, 655. Oh man, there's like a punch to the gut because I felt really good about this position. It had a pretty good ratio. So looking at the 655, it had a 72.50% weighted average of probability. So that's basically that's a 22.5 edge. And then we have a 65% overall, 80% for buys, 50% for sells. It won 2 out of the previous 4 entries. It was for a buy, of course. And unfortunately, it's no entry. Full TP right there, man. This thing's killing me. Market's killing me. But okay. I mean, I'm glad to see that the trade hit. It did what it was supposed to do, but unfortunately, it was no entry for us. It's really frustrating because we look so forward to this entry and it builds up and it looks great, and then it ends up not work well not coming through. There was another entry right here at 656. So this one's currently running in profit for a buy. If you guys, again, if you have access to my algo, it's going to hit full TP again right there. This is the same entry that came up yesterday. Yeah, same entry from yesterday, guys. So this is the one that won yesterday, 655. The same one that we look at right here. That's the same one that won yesterday. So two entries right here, back to back full TPs. 655 and 656, the same exact buys that we looked at yesterday. They both hit full TP right there. Unfortunately, there's no entry at 656, and then the 656 was a not a target entry. They were both target entries yesterday, but not today. It was just the 655. So currently, so far, we're currently at a 2R. So one win, zero loss, plus 2R for the day. And we have one more coming up in a bit. Yeah, Sam said watching the BTO, a reaction from the BTO. Nice, Talonji got the 656. Nice work, Talonji. Nice work, Brock. Yeah, Brock caught the bounce there. CJ caught the 655. Paul got the half. And yeah, Talonji, the 656 was valid as well. I mean, it was valid for a listed entry, not a target entry. So the 656 was at 63.87. It was a target entry yesterday. So yesterday was at 70%, but because it lost yesterday, it dropped down the weighted average. So it didn't qualify as a target entry. There's another target entry coming up at 704. As you guys know, we're not really looking for any trades that are against momentum, so I'm not looking to take it, but it is a target entry for those of you who are looking to get into it. Um, our next entry is going to be a little later. It's like 30 minutes from now. So we'll keep following it. We'll keep watching it. Yeah, still kind of kicking myself over this entry right here. This sell signal just had to come up. It just had to come up. But it's okay. We're following the strategy here. We have to follow the strategy as it's supposed to be applied. That's the whole point of the algo, right? The whole point of the algo is following trades based on the probabilities. Probability is really, really high on that trade. Um, I don't think we've had something above a 70% in a while. We had one the other day. So on Wednesday we had one that was a 78%, but it was a no entry. Uh yeah, we've had a couple that were above 70, 76, 77, but they're all like no entries for the most part. The problem with the market here is that it's so choppy that we don't have that consistency, right? We don't have a consistency to the downside. We don't have a consistency to the upside. What we tend to have a lot of times here is we have a big range. This is kind of how the market's been for the past month or two. It's been dropping a bit, then pushing right back up, and then dropping a bit, and then pushing right back up instead of having a consistent direction. And that's an issue because, we're trading based off momentum. If the momentum is not consistent, it's just not there. Yeah, Sam said no news equals good algo day for you, stable market. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, Sam. That's why I was excited to take this entry right here. Unfortunately, I had to get screwed with that sell momentum, but it's all good. It's all good. I just gotta keep it. Brock said got a flight to catch. Dublin awaits. All right, Brock, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a safe flight. Masij is on a flight right now too, actually. So yeah, Masij is flying over from Europe to San Francisco. So you're not going to see Masij on the live session today. Let's see. Talanji said I took it looking at the buy percentage as above 70% and weighted above 60% with entries, calculated FOMO. Yeah, I mean it was good FOMO though because the percentages are so high, right, Talanji? I don't really because we don't see those types of percentages very much, right? Where it lines perfectly. Like the overall was super high, 65% overall. You never see that really, right? The overall is usually going to be closer to 50, but this one was just a perfect entry all around. It had a great weighted average, great overall, great buy, great sell. They were like pretty much across the board. Didn't really matter which direction you took it in, but it did play out, exactly how it should have. So yeah, we got the 704 entry coming up right now, guys. Again, this doesn't matter to us very much. I'm going to put it on here, even though I know we're trying not to share the the entries. This is going to be against momentum for a buy. So this is going to be a no entry. Man, how many no entries are we going to have? And guys, just a heads up. So we're going to have a live session pretty much every day this week except Thursday, okay? So I forgot to mention this earlier in the session. I'll remind you guys again tomorrow, but we'll have a session every day this week except for Thursday. Reason for that is because I'm flying out of the country. I'm going to be flying at 6 o'clock exactly on market open. So unless I get like good internet connection while in the air, I'm not going to go live. I will send over the algo list though. So you guys will have the algo list so you guys can take the entries yourself. But I will not have a live session on Thursday. We will have a live session on Friday once I land. I'm going to set up my computer setup over there at the hotel, and then I'll be trading with you guys on Friday. So just a heads up for you guys. I'll remind you guys in the chat, and I'll remind you guys tomorrow during the live session. I know I've been traveling every week. It's tough. I don't really like traveling that much back to back like this, but gotta do what I gotta do. So let's take a look at the market structure. So price is currently over here. It's retesting the resistance right here, but basically a break and retest of it. We're currently at this high point. We'll see if price fakes out and pulls back below for a lower range, or if price continues to climb up from here and pushes up further. Two things that'll likely happen there, right? Either price fakes out right here, comes back below, or price breaks and retests this area and climbs up higher from there. One or the other. Yeah, sure, Brock. Feel free to message me on Discord. Yeah, I mean, just let me know. Let me know and we'll see. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, hit me up and we'll see if we can get you going on something there. Yeah, I like collaborating with Brock on a lot of things because Brock always has a lot of ideas, right? Brock did help us pretty much implement the MPS V2 strategy, as you guys know. So hopefully Brock has something up his sleeve with uh with his next idea. The MPS V2 is still something that we apply till this day, right? Everyone applies it still. So yeah, if Brock has an idea to implement the algo with whatever he's doing, I wouldn't mind taking a look at it. 716. And there's this interview I was watching yesterday, guys. If you guys want to watch it, I'll send the link to you guys here. It's a pretty interesting interview. I think it's so I haven't even finished watching it yet. I'm still watching it. There's this guy, he's an algorithm maker. He's been trading for like I think 20 or 30 years. He's trading with other funds for 30 years and he has his own fund for 20 years. And it's pretty interesting how he kind of approaches the market. It's kind of similar to us. He's like, if you guys have seen these interviews, I've been sending you guys these interviews from Titans of Tomorrow. He's the first quant trader that's been on this interview. So, like I said, I'm always doing research on different quant traders and different hedge fund managers and communicating with these people to kind of have an idea, like kind of like dig into like what they're doing and what works for them and what doesn't. And I think this interview is pretty interesting. If you guys want, it's really long. It's like 2 hours. I haven't even finished watching it myself. I was watching it last night when I was putting the results together. I'm about an hour in, but it's pretty interesting. So I'll post this in the chat here for those of you who want to watch it. And I'll post it in the Discord as well. Like if you guys just want to watch a video and have an idea, because we're quant traders, so like we're technically shifting to quant trading. So it's always interesting to see other people, like brilliant people. This guy, he's currently managing about 700 million in his own fund. And he did exactly what I did, right? He started out looking at technicals and he kind of incorporated science into trading, and he kind of tells a lot of things that will make sense to you. Like he'll explain why the technicals don't really make sense, and like how the probabilities are totally different when you compare them to the data. So an interesting watch if you guys want to watch it. Whenever I find good videos like that, I'll share them with you guys. Um, and these are verified guys, right? These are verified. Yeah, Sam said I saw him, but he's not revealing anything. Yeah, he's not revealing any secrets because he does ask him, like, how does his algo work and how does he reprogram and stuff. But he what he does is he explains a lot of the thought process behind it, right? He explains how overfitting is not good, especially when you're doing technicals. A lot of discretionary traders, there's good discretionary traders and good technical traders out there. But the thing is, like, this is something I think Barack should watch. Where is he at? Is he still here? Yeah, I think this is something Barack should watch because he is he's like the king of overfitting. If you guys have seen Barack, he has so much criteria. Like Barack tried to have me set up some sort of automated or algo for him, and this guy has so many requirements that like it's extremely overfitted. The one thing that I learned from, well, not really learned, but what he confirmed, this guy, was that um, was that you should have like maybe one criteria, right? Just one criteria, and then you build off confluences off that criteria. And that's what we're doing here with the algo, right? We have the algo, which gives us the main criteria, and then from there, we kind of build off that and we look at different confluences, right? That's why I added the trends here. It's not necessary, but I did add the trend here to kind of have an idea of like where price is going. Also, I added the VWAP here because that's what a lot of hedge funds use. This is the VWAP is technically an algorithm of itself, right? It's volume weighted average. And basically what it does is it kind of identifies how price pulls back to this area. It's not a standalone tool, but this is what a lot of people like to use to identify pullbacks, right? Pullbacks or continuations or reversals and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good interview for mainly thought process, especially when you're putting strategies together. And they cover a lot of other things too. So there was this other statement. Let me check the trades coming up real quick. All right, we don't have anything coming up yet, but basically in that interview, the interviewer, I forget his name, but the guy who was interviewing, basically he said that he had a streak of seven back-to-back losses. And he mentioned that, when you have seven back-to-back losses like that, there's like three things that are gonna likely happen. It's like you're either going to think your strategy doesn't work anymore. Um, you need to make some adjustments, which leads to overfitting. Or three, you have to just change it up completely or just revamp your entire strategy. So the thing with that is like the I don't even know the guy's name, but the algo maker, basically he mentioned that, like, the sample size is too small. You're gonna run into days like that. Like you're gonna run into days where you're gonna run into some losing streaks, and that doesn't necessarily discredit your strategy. It just shows that it's bound to happen. Right? You're gonna have, like, for November, I think this is like one of the biggest eye opener for us was November, right? I think this kind of threw me off. Like I was like, fuck, does the algo still work? You know, the thing is the thing is with the history here. So the algo was working in November. It was just my discretion that was throwing me off. So like because I was implementing my discretion, my own technical analysis and my own thought process, my own intuition, um, I didn't really have any trades here for November. So this didn't pull me away from using the algo. It's just this kind of pulled me away from myself. I started to realize that I have to take my discretion out of the trade. That's why for this trade over here at 655, I was ready to take this trade, right? I didn't care if this trade was like bearish, like the trend was bearish or whatnot. I was ready to get into the 655 entry, but because the sell signal came up, I decided not to, well, I didn't decide not to take it. I just didn't take it. So just something to keep in mind, guys. You have to, like, especially if you want to go from a discretionary trader to a systematic trader or quant style, you have to really take your discretion out of it. You have to go based off the numbers and the probabilities. So again, we have another entry coming up a little later today. I'm going to take that trade regardless, as long as it comes up. I got I gotta fully remove myself from the from the strategy and the entry and whatnot, all that type of stuff. Because it's doing more of a harm to me than it does benefit. And you guys see it just as much as I do, right? There's a lot of entries here that I could have taken, which I should have taken, but because of my intuition and my experience, a lot of these entries I just skipped out on. Because November could have been a decent month. I mean, we did the stats over here, right, for November. Here, let me go over here real quick. It's the markups. So here are the stats if I took every trade for November. I took 3 trading days, maybe 3 or 4 trades. There was a total of 47 trades. So you think about that. I missed out on a lot of money, right? A lot of money that was on the table. So I only took 3 trading days. I still made some profit, but it wasn't a lot, compared to October, right? I had a huge month for October, right? 400,000. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 trading days. Um, Looking over here at November, I had 3 trading days. I was still in profit, but not very much. There was a total of 47 trades, a total of 20 wins, a total of 27 losses. It had a win ratio of 42.55 and an R multiple of 13. So if I would have just stuck to the strategy and not used my discretion, we should have made some profit for November, a little bit more than where I ended up. But again, it's a learning process for me. It's a learning process for me as it is for you guys. You have to if you're going to follow a systematic strategy, you just got to stick to it. And I think, it's like what people say, like you are your own worst enemy because you're you're uh you're holding yourself back for the most part. Well, that's kind of where I'm at. All right, so we have this entry right here coming up at 716, guys. I'm not in this position. This is going to be a against momentum. So this is going to come up actually. So this is a target entry. It's just against momentum. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not taking against momentum entries. So we just have it listed on here. Actually, I'm not even going to list it because we're just going to be following it. We'll be following it, but it's not one of those entries that I'm looking to actually take. We kind of went over this yesterday with the data. The against entries, they come up every so often, but long term, they don't really pan out. So they're better to be skipped than to be taken. Nice. Sam took an MPS V2 right there, full TP for him. Nice work, Sam. So there's a MPS V2 which came up over here, guys. Price came down. Retracement continuation right there. I'm updating the spreadsheet as we speak. So we have this one over here, which is the win. 2R 704, no entry. We got 2 entries right here coming up shortly. They're both going in opposite directions. One of them is probably going to be a no entry, and one of them is going to be an entry. So this one right here at 716. I'll just list it, but it's not going to be considered one of the, obviously the official entries, of course. It's just good to list, have a running tab to see how these trades here play through. There's one more target entry, Glenn. There is one more. Well, actually, there's like 4 of them, but I'm not taking against momentum entries, so nothing for me specifically. Yeah, so obviously, see, this would have been against momentum. This is another example of like why we wouldn't take these types of entries because the entries look good sometimes, but most of the time they don't play out. This one looks like it's not going to play out. I would don't want to fade my own entries, but it looks like it doesn't, and it doesn't right there. Yeah. So again, this is why we skip the against momentum type entries. Honestly, there's like not even any point to document them because we're not taking them. So we're just not going to document the against momentum. I'll have them on the list, but I'll eventually just take them off. Or I'll put a note there. So loss, no take. All right, if you guys are looking on the spreadsheet, I'll put we're not going to document the wins or the losses for the against because we're just not taking those at all. But I'll keep them on the list just so that we have an idea of like where the reversals are likely to happen. Okay, so we have a possible reversal happening around here. This is what we're looking for now. We're looking for price to kind of push up, slow down, and then reverse back down to here, back into the range. This is the type of pattern I'm looking for to get into my next target entry. So we have one more target entry and we have two just listed entries. They're close in probability, but they're not high enough. So we got one that's at 63.34. We have one at 62.50. Like they're close. They're not at 65, but they're almost there. Yeah, Rev said, doesn't the against show trend shifting? Yes, exactly. So that's why I still keep them on the list, Rev, but I don't actually take the entries, right? We use them as a confluence or as like a heads up that price is likely to shift, right? Because if you look at that entry, I know you have the list, Rev. So if you look at that entry, or not the entry, but you know the against entries right there, and then see the actual target entry that's coming up, it shows that it's gonna be with momentum, right? So that's why I'm looking for this here to identify a reversal, and I'm looking for the entry down here, right? Yeah. No, you're spot on, Rev. That's exactly what we're doing. So although I'm not taking the entries, I'm using it as a confluence because it's showing us that okay, reversal is going to happen right here, and I'm looking for it to come back down because that's going to line up with our actual entry that we're looking to take. Yeah, you saw the list, right, Paul, too. Yeah, so if you look at the list, that's why we have the against entries still listed. I'm not going to completely ignore them. They're there for us to identify the reversals. Yeah, Paul said he wasn't taking the 716. That strong push to the upside scared me a bit. Yeah, so that's the reason why I don't like trading against momentum. Um, the reason why I don't take those is because I don't want to go against the direction of price, right? If you're going against momentum, you're looking for that flip. And the thing is that flip isn't always going to happen right away. Like we had the flip starting to set up over here on 716, and it ended up flipping. So it did do what it was supposed to do. It was just the entry happened a little too early, right? 716 right there. So I mean the thing is it could have been a good trade. I think for these against momentum type entries, you just have to have a wider TP stop loss to be honest. Like realistically that's kind of what you need because like the 20 is not going to be tight enough if it pushes away. Maybe like a 60-30 might work. But yeah, it's hard to get it in a sense that because you got to be really spot on for that reversal to happen. Let's see, CJ said, Sean, you should rephrase that. We aren't looking for trades against momentum except CJ. Don't mean to stress you out, bro. I just really enjoy the algo. Yeah, no, 100% CJ. If you guys can find an edge, trading against momentum or anything like that, it'll I mean, use your edge, right? Whatever you guys have, because the thing is like what I'm doing might not work for you, right? If you want to take more entries, you can take every single entry that comes up. Looking at the statistics for November. Like if you took every trade that came up, I mean, you could have made some pretty good profit. Like, just putting it out there. There's a lot of entries that came up. And that's kind of what CJ's doing, right? CJ's taking entries not just on the 1 minute, he's also taking entries on the 10 minute, right? There's a lot of opportunity out there. It's just you got to find your edge, you got to find the stuff. And that's another thing too. I don't know if it was from this specific interviewer, but I was watching another interview where this guy mentioned um where he mentioned that like you got to find your style of trading, right? Whether it be short term, whether it be long term, whether it be 1 minute, whether it be 5 minute, whether it be 10 minute, whether it be multiple time frames, you have to find what works for you because you can't force a strategy on someone, right? Like you can't force a scalping strategy on a swing trader. It doesn't matter if he has all the tools, all the strategies, everything to follow, he's still going to fail at it. Same with teaching a swing strategy to a scalper, right? If someone doesn't have the ability to hold on to a position for like more than a couple minutes, more than a couple hours, more than a couple days, that person's going to fail at swing trading because they're going to be stressed out all day. That's kind of how I am, right? I've tried my hardest to swing trade. Trust me, I tried my hardest to swing trade and I just don't like it. I hate the feeling of like taking a position and then like a news event happens and I end up losing the position that's already in profit after holding that position for days, right? It's like the worst feeling ever for me personally. Some people like that. They like to just take the trade and not be stressed out in the moment. For me, I like to be stressed out in the moment versus being stressed out long term. So it's just something to, keep in mind. Rev said, is it just me? But it looks like a lot of the time when entries are 1 minute apart, the second entry wins. Yeah, no, I've noticed that from the beginning. Like when we started applying the algo, I did notice that a lot. The opposite actually happened yesterday. So yesterday we had a 655 entry which hit 656 loss, right? So I've noticed that before. Like if you that's why I usually don't double dip into the position. Um, if I see one that looks better than the other, I usually just take one of them because a lot of them will overlap, right? That's what happened yesterday. We had this 655 that overlapped with the 656. It pushed up 40 points on this one, and then it got overextended and it reversed on this one. It pushed up like 20 or 30 points, and then it reversed the other way. So I do notice that, Rev, and I used to do what you mentioned early on in the algo days. So like when we first started applying the algo, I used to take the second one because I didn't want to get in too early. But then I realized that it doesn't really matter, right? Because you're either going to get in too early or you're going to get in too late. So you're going to get screwed on one of them, or in some instances, the market just keeps going and you win on both of them. So for me, I'll for the most part look for the one that has a higher probability before jumping into it. Nice. CJ said he set a pending order at 716. Did you do the 50 to 100? CJ, I'm assuming you did a higher. I mean, you had to do a higher TP stop loss, right? Nice. Full TP on CJ's. CJ mentioned, just for clarification, I do use the against momentum to better pinpoint MPF V2s. Yeah, for the market flows and the MPS V2s. Yeah, definitely. Those strategies are covered on the website, Paul, if you want to look at them. I mean, if CJ wants to explain them to you, I guess CJ can, but those are also covered on the website. It's the same strategy that's been used for years. Uh, yeah, the MPS V2 and the market flow V2, it's the same strategy that was here probably the last time you were around, Paul. It's just I don't use it as much because I don't trade technicals as much anymore. I'm going based off, probabilities, more of a quant trader. But CJ uses them in conjunction with each other. So CJ uses the algo, but he also uses the actual strategies for his entries. So he'll use the algo to identify direction, reversals, etc., and then use the actual technical strategies for entry. Yeah, it's all good, Paul. It's your first day back. You just gotta give it some time. You'll get back into it. But yeah, it's the same strategy, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you to pick back up. All right, guys, let's see. The next entry is coming up in a bit. Since we got some downtime here, I'm going to step away for a second. I'm just going to grab some water, and then I will be right back. Wow, what a big sell-off right there. Not really sell-off, but dump to the downside, looks like. So let's see. This dump happened a little too early. I was hoping this dump was going to happen later because I was trying to look for a sell at some point. It's currently retesting the imbalance, it looks like. So we have an older imbalance right here. I'll just take this off. It's kind of irrelevant at this point. Yeah, Justice said facts. That dump should have been for us. I know I was waiting for it to build up because our target entry is coming up soon, right? I was like, okay, let it sit here for a while. It's like, fine, just chill out there for a second and then dump when our entry comes up. But unfortunately, well, we'll see. It's not a big deal here. I mean, our trade could still kind of play through, but obviously, I wanted price to kind of flat line around this area, and then I mean, I marked it up for you guys here. So this is what I was looking for. I said, okay, we'll look for price to push up, see the reversal, and I was looking for the entry right there, right? Thing is, the dump already happened. Doesn't pull away from our entry though. Our entry is still going to be the same. Um, it was just that I wished would have sat up there a little bit for us. Paul said, I'm proud of myself for not revenge trading like I did 4 years ago. Yeah, I mean, that's a key thing, right? It's really trade psychology. We talk about this all the time. It doesn't really matter what strategy you're applying. If your trade psychology sucks, you're not going to be good at trading, right? Because what happens with a lot of people is like revenge trading. Like you could have like an amazing day or amazing week or even amazing month, but like once you start revenge trading and over trading and FOMO trading and stuff like that, it'll really eat into your account. You could have a whole good month and blow that entire account within a day if if you let the bad habits kind of take over. It's unfortunate, but that's just kind of how it is with most people. That's why a lot of people can't last in this game long term. Like looking over at my November results, if I would have traded on tilt in November, I could have blown up a couple of accounts, but I'd rather have less trades and some profit than a bunch of losing trades and huge hold to get myself out of. It's really just a self-control. All right, so we've got price pushing up a little bit. Price pushing up above the VWAP, kind of at the support area. There's no news for today. Let me see if there's anything here that could be affecting the market. I don't think there is. No, not really. Nothing here. I don't even know what Howell spoke about yesterday. I know he had a speaking. Apartment rents further, drop further with vacancies at record high. No breaking news for today. National median rent for apartments fell 1%, now stands at 1,367. Damn, where can you get an apartment for $1,000? That's crazy. Apartments where I live here in Orange County, they're like six, like they're like on average like 6,000. They're super expensive. Maybe it's just because of where I'm located, but I don't think I've ever seen apartments that cheap. Probably like in Midwest or some area that is kind of away from things. But yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, fuck, I just missed the entry. Oh, fuck me. I got the time wrong. It's too late. The entry is going on without us. I'm gonna cancel it. Fuck. Damn it. I got the times wrong. I thought it was at 6:35. It was at 6:32. Oh my God. That was a stupid mistake on my end. Trade's running right now. If you guys are in it, looks like it's gonna hit. Anybody else jumped in on that one?
Order canceled.
Wow. For some reason, I thought it was at 7:35 this whole time. I don't know what I was looking at. Well, I'm not going to get into it late, or maybe I still can. Let's see. So I'll watch it and I'll see where this ends up because it might just range for a bit. I do think it'll hit though. It looks pretty good. Yeah, it's gonna hit. It's about to hit already. It didn't pull back far enough for it to refill. It's all good. I'll watch it right here. I mean, if it pulls back, maybe I could get in later, but we'll see.
Con-
As soon as I was gonna enter that position, I got a connection loss. I was like, I canceled it. Oh my God, NinjaTrader is fucking with me today. As soon as I put my limit order, it said connection loss, so I immediately canceled it. Uh, I'm just not gonna risk it, guys. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna take that risk because it literally said connection loss as soon as I put a limit order there to fill it. This thing,
Canceled.
yeah, canceled. It's a good thing I canceled it because it looks like here this one didn't play through. So today so far we're currently at a one R, one win, one loss. Looks like I dodged a bullet on that one. I mean, it looked good. It looked great, right? Looked like a great entry right there. NinjaTrader saved me on that one. Usually I get pissed off when NinjaTrader does that, but it actually saved me on that one. So we're still in profit for the day. We had a win over here at 656, a loss right here at 732. It's basically at 1R. We had a plus two, one minus one. Yeah, it looks like I dodged a bullet on that one. Looks like Paul over here moved his position to break even, so no loss. Nice work, Paul. The trade looked good though. Like, I mean, overall it looked great. It just came down, bounced off this structure right here. Let me go to this. So it bounced off a couple different structure points. It bounced off the sessions below here. It also bounced off the support level. So basically a double bottom right here. Double bottom off the structure. Also double bottom off the sessions. The Asia high right there. Ah man, just when we thought we were out of like this like choppy market, we're back in this choppy market. You guys can see here, it's pretty obvious, right? Super chop back and forth. We need some markets like November or like October where price would like climb up or vice versa, climb down. Yeah, Sam said I love this market. It's so linear though. If it falls, it falls. We'll have a blast this month if it stays the same. Yeah, it's perfect for you, Sam, since you're doing I mean you're doing sweeps and you're also doing MPS V2s, right? So it works great for you because you can take the MPS V2s down the middle and you take the sweeps at the highs and the lows, right? So yeah, for you it's great. For us, it's not super great because we're trying to get entries in between these middle points. But the problem with these middle points are that it our injuries don't happen until like later, right? So for example, if this thing happened for the sell down the middle here, that'd be perfect, right? That's exactly what we wanted. But the problem our entry happened so late down here that it basically screwed up the position in a sense because the momentum already died out by the time it got to this lower point. So yeah, no, I'm curious to see how this month plays out. Yeah, CJ said I got out when I heard Sean's connection loss and I got 2 points profit. Yeah, it's so the thing with and it's this is an issue with NinjaTrader that we've been having for so long now. It's the connection issues. Um, if I ever get a connection issue, I just close out of my position, guys. There's just no point in me holding on to a position if I have a connection issue because what happens is if I'm still disconnected, then I'll be trapped in the position. I won't be able to pull out of it, right? So that's why for me personally, if I ever hear connection error or connection loss or any issue like that, I just close out of my positions or I just cancel whatever I have pending because it can really screw up your position, right? Like imagine you have your stop loss hit, but then you have connection loss, so it doesn't actually close you out, and you end up super deep in drawdown. So yeah, I mean it is what it is. We have a couple more entries here coming up. I'll just list them on here. I don't care to share to hide them right now. So we have the 743, and we'll see if these here play through. I mean, these are not target entries, but they are listed and they are with momentum. So the six here, and I'll put the list up right now. All right, so here's a list of entries. I don't really care at this point because we're already close to the end of the session. So here are all the entries for today. Like I said, there's no entry at 629, no entry at 647, no entry at 648. This one right here came up 650, or no entry right here as well. This one did come up 656. This was a win. 704 right here, no entry. 716. These are both, I mean, we basically ignored all of these right here, the against. 732 unfortunately was a loss. So if you look at the statistics here for this one, it wasn't, I mean, it was good, but you can see over here from the history of trades, there's going to be losses, right? And let me show you guys a history of that specific trade at 732. So let's look over here. The 732 trade, it's not necessarily a bad trade. It's just losses happen, right? Sometimes they happen. That's just part of the game. So you can see over here that it has a probability of 55%. That was the overall, weighted at 71.95. You can see that it goes into drawdown sometimes, but it usually only has one drawdown or two trades. So if you look over here, there's one loss right here, but then a win. And since we're doing a 1 to 2, if you have a win on these times or these dates, it's usually going to balance out. So right here we have a loss, but then it balances out with 3 wins. So obviously that'd be a 6R minus one. That's a 5R. That's great, right? Out of 4 trades right there, I would take that any day. So right here again, we have one loss and it's followed up by 2 wins. It's a 4R minus one. That's 3R. Right here, a couple losses. And then right here, obviously, we had basically a win. So 3 wins, one loss, another win there. So 4 wins and then one loss. So 4 wins, 2 losses. That's an 8R minus two. That's a 6R. So for the past week or so at 732, this trade's been hitting and it's had about a 6R so far. So I mean it's good for the most part. This is a good entry. It's just, whatever happened here caused loss. And you have to be able to accept that, right? Profit factor is good. It's at almost 2 points. Looking at the list of trades here, you guys can see all the wins and the losses, right? So it has pretty good win streaks and it has very small losing streaks. But yeah, today unfortunately was a loss for it. It won yesterday, so on December 1st it won. Today it lost December 2nd. November 28th it lost. November 27th it won. It won on the 26th. So for for this period right here, basically for the month of November, it would be a net profit of 10,000 if you only traded. So if you only traded 732 every single day, this is what your profit would look like. It'd be a 10,000 profit if you're doing 10 contracts, 21% profitability. Max drawdown is 4,000. There's basically 4 losses. And obviously it won more than it lost. So we got this entry coming up right here with momentum. It's not a target entry, but it is a listed entry. So if you guys want to take that right there, that's going to be a buy entry if this candle closes, which it will. Um, it's just not a target entry for me, so it's not one that I'm looking to get into. So, like what we talked about earlier, this here is everything I take here, everything that we look at is based off the probabilities. I don't really care about the price action. I don't care about the technicals very much. Ideally, I'd like trades with directional momentum, of course, but they're not necessary, right? This 732 entry right here was with momentum, or it was with the trend, and it still lost. So the trend here isn't a big factor for me. This right here is the 743 entry. It's currently running at the moment. Oh no, sorry, I take that back. It's a no entry. Thanks, Paul, for the heads up. That was a sell actually. So this was with momentum. You were looking for a sell. There's no sell momentum here, so there's a no entry there for 743. 744 is coming up right here. This is with momentum for a buy, so this is going to be an actual entry. This over here is going to set up pretty nicely. It looks like a break and retest off the structure. So this could be good. Yeah, Sam said, have patience, bro. You'll have a great month. Don't be frustrated because your algo is also saying no entries. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I just gotta trust the algo, right? I talked about this. I gotta take my discretion out of the trades and I have to just let the trades play out how they're supposed to. It's hard, but long term it should have lasting effects, of course, just like October did. All right, the 744 entry is currently running. It looks like it's going to be pretty nice. Break and retest off the structure, push back up. This has a 62.50 weighted average, 55 overall, 70% for buys, 40% for sells. It won 3 out of the previous 4 entries. This looks like a really good entry right here. So 44. It also lines up with MPSV2 as well. All right, so long position is running right there. It's almost there. This is also an MPSV2, like what Talanji mentioned. Push to the upside, retracement, confirmation. So you got a couple confluences right here. You got an MPSV2 running alongside this entry. The entry actually got in way earlier right here. It looks good. It's going to retest this high right here, it looks like. About to hit target right there. It looks good. I'm going to call it a win before it happens. I'm just going to call it a win there. All right, pretty good. So with that being the case, pretty decent day overall today, guys. If you looked at all the entries there. Um, yeah, it's about a hit. So we'll call that a win right there. Long exit. So the entry happened right here for the long exit right there. This was a win. So for the day so far, 2 wins, 1 loss. Currently at 3R for the day. Pretty good day overall. I mean, 3R is pretty decent, right? If you're taking pretty decent contract size or if you're taking multiple accounts. Again, like we said, the algo here is doing what it's doing. It's algoing, right? The algo is algoing. Probabilities were there, trade hit. Like I said, the losses are going to happen, guys. They're part of the game. But if you take the entries as they're supposed to be taken, you'll be perfectly fine. So again, my main problem here is following the strategy as it's supposed to be applied, right? I need to work as hard as I can to remove my discretion from the trades. Unfortunately, that's just my biggest problem. I've been a technical trader, a discretionary trader for a long time, so it's hard to unlearn what you've already, not really unlearn, but to be able to take a different approach. But yeah, those are the stats for the day, guys. 2 wins, 1 loss, plus 3R for the day. I'm kind of curious to see the statistics for that specific trade. So 44, yeah. I mean, looking at this trade right here, there is some drawdowns. You can see over here, it had a drawdown of, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So 3 losses right here back to back, but then it had 1, 2, 3, 4 back-to-back wins. So this would be an 8R minus 3. So that's about a 5R within this period right here for a week's period. If you just took this exact trade at this time, for the most part, every single day. This is one thing that you guys can do. If you guys want to just take one trade at one time every single day and you don't care about like having the list of trades, you can do that. If you find a time that you really like and you think, okay, this is a high probability type strategy or type time, then you can just take that trade. The profit factor on this one's actually really good. It's at 2.342. It has a 55% overall right here, 70% for buys, 40% for sells. I mean, the longs on this look like it play out pretty nice. Let's see the list of trades here. So here are all the trades for this month for basically for November. It won yesterday. Yeah, won today, so that's two back-to-back wins to 4R. Lost on the 28th, lost on the 27th. I think this was Thanksgiving, so it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't have taken these trades. 25th win, fourth win, 21st win, lost here on the 20th. So you can see if you take these trades with the 1 to 2, it's going to balance out, right? If you took this one trade at 744 every single day for November, you would have netted basically 12,000, right? So again, like we talked about this earlier, guys, if you find a time that you like to trade and you just want to take that one very trade every single day, you can do that, right? This kind of like it makes me kind of curious now too. I'm like, damn, maybe I should do this, right? Maybe I should look for one time that I like that's like an outlier and just take that one trade every single day. It doesn't matter what happens. Take the trade. Whether it be for a buy, whether it be for a sell, take it with momentum, against momentum, etc. Because the crazy thing is that, like, if you do that, I mean, this trade ends up in profit regardless for the month of November. I'm like curious, like, I'm really curious now to see for the whole month of November, what if we just took this one strategy or this one time? So yeah, I mean the profitability is still there. You're gonna have drawdown periods. If you only traded at 744 every single day, this one strategy with momentum, right? You'd have like the drawdown is not even that bad. Think about it. Yeah, because if you were to factor out the like this still has a 50% probability, right? If you took this trade every single day, has a 50% probability. If you were to do the math, you just need 33% to be profitable, right? So looking at the trade analysis over here, let's just do the math real quick. I'll just show you guys. This is if you took buys and sells, doesn't matter which direction, you just went with momentum. So basically had 10 winning trades, so that's 20R minus 10, right? So that's what it would be basically. So basically 10 times 5 times 20. I mean, it's not a lot of profit, but, or no, is that right? I'm doing this wrong. It's 20. So I did the math wrong. 10 times 5 times, uh, wait, no, 200. Okay, there we go. So you make about 10,000. I knew I had a number wrong there. I was like, there's no way this thing adds up to 1,000. It's 10,000. So here's an example. If you just want to take one, like if you find one time that's really good for whatever period you're looking to trade, um, basically if you wanted to pass an eval, right? Like you would just take this one trade every single day. Or you could find like two times, like two times that are good, that have probably the least amount of drawdown. And you can just take that one trade every single day. It doesn't matter like what the market's showing, doesn't matter what market structure is looking like. You can literally just take that one trade every single day. And I mean this is good. So what I like to see here is I like to see minimal drawdown period. I think this one might not be super great because there is some decent like there's some ma not massive, but there's drawdown period, of course. Right here. I would try to look for something that has like more minimal drawdown. So I think what I'm going to do after this live session is I'm probably going to go through the list of trades here and I'm going to see what has the least amount of drawdown. And I'm probably just going to try to jump into those positions. I think that's probably going to be well, I'll have to talk to Masij about this. But this might be better than looking at a list of trades, honestly. Yeah, it might be better. We'll see. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, CJ said, yes, Sean, please trust the algo. I honestly don't believe October's profits were a fluke. I traded every entry on my forward test account at one contract in November and withdrew a total of 4,800 from Apex just to see if anyone could make money no matter the account size. Yeah, no, I agree with you. So CJ here has actually been taking every single trade that comes up with one contract size just to see if the trades would play through. And CJ got a payout of 4,800 just from taking every single trade. So I mean, there's two ways of doing it, right? It's either you can just focus on one specific time period and just take every single trade at that specific time every single day, or you can follow, the list of trades, of course. Either way, it's going to work pretty well. So one thing that I'm curious now is looking at that trade that lost for today. Just want to pull up the data. Let's see. Vin's asking, are you using 1 to 2 on all trades? Yes, 1 to 2 on all trades. Sam said, reduce your lot size, Sean, then try. Yeah, so that's gonna be a problem with because the thing with the hedge clients is that not everybody is using the same contract size as me, Sam. So I don't know if I could take every single trade. I might be able to do with my prop accounts, but not for the hedge fund clients because some people are using like the bare minimum one contract, and I can't go smaller than that, right? Unfortunately, I can't go smaller than that. I can only go yeah, it's one basically. So we'll see. I mean, if that's the case, because the thing is, if we do that, they're gonna have to risk a lot more. But we'll try to kind of figure that out. So I'm looking over here at this the 632. I mean, the 632 actually doesn't have a crazy amount of drawdown either. It's just about the same, but or 732. This is something that I'd have to run by Masish because he could run it through his Python program to like kind of get the probabilities of very specific times. But I think what we're doing now is perfectly fine. We just got to stick to it and stick to the game plan, really. So, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Let me see if there's anything else over here that I'm looking at. Let's see. Wes is asking, was that for every target entry or every trade? Yeah, I think CJ took every single trade, not just the target entries. Yeah, CJ said I averaged 1 to 1,000 and 1,500 per week. Yeah, I think CJ took basically every trade except the open. And that's only on one contract. So you think about that. I mean, CJ did pretty good for just one contract. If he upped the contract size a little bit, 5 contracts, 10 contracts, etc., his profits would have multiplied. He made 4,800. He would have made 48,000 if he did 10 contracts. Yeah, his Demon entry at 702. The 702 doesn't even come up very often, huh? Doesn't really come up very often. All right, guys. Anyways, here's the spreadsheet for all the trades for the algo. I think I've updated everything here. So for today so far, there was a 2R or no, there's one more trade here. Let me update this, refresh. And we got every trade listed right here. So for today so far, it's a 3R. Pretty good day overall for all the trades. 3R for that. And then for the target entries, a negative 1R. So not too bad. I mean, it's basically a break-even week so far because there was a 1R yesterday and then a negative 1R for today. So basically yesterday was a win, today was a loss. And we're basically at break even. So break even for the target entries, and then for every entry that came up, I mean, these are all ones from yesterday. There's a lot of entries yesterday. It was a negative 1R plus 3R for today. So it's basically at 2R for the week. So that's pretty good. Overall, pretty good, I think. There's only so much we can do here to really to sway the market. So yeah, just gonna keep following this and see where the algo completes. And here are the stats for the year so far, guys. So for the stats for the year so far over here, I'm currently at 1,038,000. I'm trying to keep it above 1 million for this. I just gotta have a couple wins for this month and I keep it above a million. But yeah, these are all of my trades for the year. All my trades for the year. I don't think you'll see anybody else share this with you, right? I don't see anybody else sharing all their trades for the year to date. Um, because nobody's really this consistent, right? Not to say that I'm the most consistent person out there, but I'm decently consistent to the point where I can show you every single trade for the whole year. And you guys, all these trades were taken live, so I can't fake any of this stuff really. Um, I mean, it's been a pretty good year. Overall, it's been a good year. The past couple months have been kind of shitty. Obviously, November here has been pretty crappy, but thankfully October was so great that I can kind of chill for November. And for this month, I want to take something, of course. November, we only took 3 trading days. But October was amazing, 400K for this month. a lot of good trades that month. I'm hoping for December we have something similar to October, but I just we can't predict what's going to happen, right? I wish we could, but there's just no way to predict that. So, anyways, if you guys are wondering how we're doing for the year, we're doing pretty good overall. I mean, this is all net profit, so like basically from January 2nd up until today, December 2nd, pretty good. Net profit, gross profit, winners, losers, biggest profit, biggest loss. My profit ratio is close to 1 to 6. It's supposed to be 2, but obviously slippage and stuff like that will cause it. But I think this is the best part, right? The win percentage. Win percentage has been great for the year, 63.15. And that covers, let's see how many trades I've taken. I've taken so many trades. So yeah, it's good. If you guys don't have a journal, I'd highly recommend you have a journal. When you're going through like a bad, not really a bad month, but a slow month like November, I like to look back at my stats for the year, and it just reminds me that okay, this year is good. So even though I had a slow November, it's okay. It's got to keep going and keep sticking to the game plan. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it. I don't see any other questions here. Let's see. CJ said someone in the chat asked if the algo worked for a 25K account, and that's what inspired me to forward test it. Yeah, doing one contract size, you're not going to see a lot of profit, but if you see profit on it, that's when you can start adding size to it. That's when you can start adding size to it. It's crazy what size will do. You add another contract size that doubles, you add 3 contract size that triples, 10 contract size times 10. It's a lot. Paul said he did a 22 risk reward. 1-to-ones are good, I think, for win ratio, but I think long term, the 1-to-2 is going to be more realistic because you got to factor in slippage, spread, accidents, right? That's why so if you look at my profit or my profit factor here, guys, if I didn't have slippage or problems where I got out early, this should be above 2. But because of slippage and whatnot, my risk to reward overall for a whole year is about like 1 to 1.6. I'm going to try to improve that to make it to 2 next year because we're just going to take trades based off the algo. But yeah, I mean that's just I got to adapt with it. Got to make it happen. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. I gotta go. It's daddy daycare time right now. I gotta grab my daughter. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, if not, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. Again, if you guys are part of the premium and you guys want or you guys are curious where the trades are posted, they're posted under algo here. I'll update them later today, and then you guys will see what we have for tomorrow. Hopefully, another good amount of trades that we can take, and hopefully, a better day of entries. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord.